Ooh, spooky noises. Golden Goblins. Another bittersweet ending is upon us. The end.
End of Schlocktober.
End of Schlocktober.
It's finally feeling like Schlocktober outside.
Oh my God, we dropped 35 degrees in like 2 days.
Yeah, I like it. I'm tired of the heat.
I'm tired of the heat. I just want the fucking... My lawn is like a sponge right now.
I'd like to stop raining. That would be nice.
And we have a week of rain upon us.
Yeah, I know. It sucks.
Will it stay off on Halloween? That's the question.
Usually doesn't.
Yeah.
We usually have shitty, rainy Halloween.
We have awful, rainy Halloweens.
And again, nobody gives out candy on my block. It's like me and 2 other people.
Well, everyone has realized that is the work of the devil and socialism.
Now they realize that? Well, they're both one and the same thing. You're acting like they're 2 different things.
Oh, shit. I keep forgetting. I can't remember how they fold into each other. But yes, that's right, of course. Socialism, Satanism.
The
same
hellhole that is Sweden. We all know that. I watched Dune last night.
The new one?
The new one, yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's how I felt. Yeah. I don't know. It was 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Felt like 3.5 hours.
Okay.
I mean,
theater experience or at home?
No, at home. I don't do the theater anymore. I gotta say, people shit on it. I prefer the Lynch version. I just think the Lynch version was more like imaginative, and there's a lot more going on. Like this was very like the color scheme. I mean, obviously they're on a desert planet, but it's still everything looked dull and boring.
Yeah,
and like I just don't get it. Like with CGI, we can do anything now. Our imagination's there's no limits, and yet everything now looks so bland.
Yes, we finally have the ability to do all this with technology. Let's like it boring.
Yeah.
I have no interest in watching it. Obviously, I mean,
there was good. All the actors were good.
Yeah,
they had big name actors.
Even NPR, was just like, yeah, like it's good, I guess, but it doesn't. It feels empty as hell.
And did you know it's an indictment on our invasion of Afghanistan?
Oh my God!
Or it's just based on a book that came out in like the 30s, which had the exact same premise as the movie.
I am 100% okay with anybody theatercrafting whatever the fuck they want, but the fact that they're trying to shoehorn that into it, and it's like, no, dog, this is like a book.
If you're a moron and you're looking for a clickbait headline, that's what you do.
This is true. The internet is 90% clickbait headlines, 10% porn, 1% one percenters. I think I like that math. Works for me.
The 1%ers own the whole thing.
That's right. Well, Murray.
So don't watch Dune. Listen to this episode, because it'll probably be as long as the
It could
Dune,
be.
But it'll be way more interesting.
It's going to be such a fun fucking movie to talk about.
Because this movie, John Carpenter, the original plan, I'm sure everyone listening knows, but we're going to tell you anyway if you don't know.
Oh, yeah. We're not breaking waves here. We're not, bucking the trend here by saying this movie's really fucking good. People have known this for years.
Well,
it took them a long time.
Yeah, it was very maligned when it came out because everyone was like, where the fuck is Michael Myers? And John Carpenter's plan all along was just going to be an anthology type series where Halloween was the holiday of Halloween was the center of it. It wasn't Michael Myers.
Right.
But Halloween 1 was such a smash hit, they forced him to do another Michael Myers one. And it made a little sense because it literally picked up right after the last one ended. It was like the exact same night. And then he killed off Michael Myers, and he's like, I'm done with it. And then he said, we're going to do this. He just produced this movie. He didn't direct it. And he did this. I didn't know he did the music for this, but when you hear it, you're like, obviously, that's John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And can I say, we were complaining last week about the shitty synth in Bad Black Roses. I like synth when it sounds like synth. They're not trying, it sounds like that alien weird, only synth can make.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it when they're trying to, and obviously it's for budgetary reasons. If someone's trying to do an orchestral soundtrack, but they don't have that. And it sounds like shit all the time.
Right. No, lay into the synth. You're right.
Go
the
right
synth,
into it, yeah.
It's so capable of making wonderful noises and everything. Find a nice little soundscape and work with it. And that's what John does. He's not a great musician, but he's great at finding a tone and being like, this is good, I can work with this. And I love that about him. I don't think John Carpenter would have any problem with that comment. Because we've seen the man work. Right. It's one finger at a time. It looks like your grandpa trying to type up an email.
One hand in his front pocket, other hand.
And a little shimmy. He's got a good little shimmy, too. And a little...
Occasionally pulls out the shades, puts them on.
Yeah. It was so good. I could watch that man play a keyboard all day. I even have a nice connection to this movie because I can still remember one of the greatest memories of my youth was TNT or TBS, one of those two channels. They were in the middle of a Halloween like marathon. They did like 1 through 6. I love how they just killed. They were done with Michael Myers. Then he came back in 4 or whatever it was.
He like magically came back, if I remember correctly.
And so I've already seen 1 and 2 so many times. My dad was going down to the Value Center grocery store, so I said, I'm going to go with you. Because that was my way of always getting a snack. I was like 9 years old, 10 years old or something. So I get there, and I found $6 in bottle returns that somebody just left in the parking lot. So Griff had $6 to work with. Bought myself some A&W creme soda. And then
They were in the back of a truck, but he just found them, so...
Just the slips. Yeah. I didn't steal all the cans. I didn't
that'd be too much work for a young Griff.
Oh, my God, that'd be so much work. Yeah, I don't do that. So, yeah, I got all my shit together, got home, watched...
You saw it fall out of the pocket of an elderly man. You could tell he needed the money, but he was just like, it's mine, motherfucker. I don't care. Mm-hmm. He was blind. It didn't matter. He didn't know he couldn't see what he's missing.
I waved at him.
Okay.
Couldn't see me, so... I took the money, I bought some cream soda, and I enjoyed the hell out of a Halloween marathon. Love this movie. I've seen it so many times now. But the one thing I never really realized was what was going on with the main character of this movie. It just never dawned on me how ridiculous his character is.
I loved it. Tom Atkins perfectly cast as everybody's, if you've lived my life, deadbeat, drunk dad, and he's perfect in the role. I mean, he's got the members-only jacket. You know there's some Velcro on those New Balances he was having.
Oh, and you know it.
And he's perfect. I mean, he's such a non-heroic hero.
Yes.
And I loved it that they had the balls to do that. And and there's no redemptive arc for him.
No.
He's a piece of shit at the beginning. He ends. He's a less piece of shit because at least he's trying to stop the bad guy. He's still a piece of shit, which I enjoyed. It was fresh.
Right. You get that one little sliver of a thing where it's just kind of like, my motivation here is no one gets to kill my kids. I get to kill my kids, so I'm going to stop this. Like, I feel like that was his only motivation. But I fucking loved it. He's a complete zero. They talk about anti-hero. No, he's just a zero. He's just zero. Just a deadbeat dad who loves fucking women. And women love to fuck him.
Yeah, that was the one thing I had trouble getting my mind around. Anyway, we want to fuck him. But
oh my God!
Got the cheesy Bronson stash going on.
Yep. Oh God. Oh well, apparently we don't have a whole lot to talk about in the top half, so we'll get to it.
Don't watch Dune. Is all I got to say. Or watch it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, go ahead and watch it. It's even NPR said it's soulless. So if you want to see something with a little more soul in it.
Isn't that all modern movies now? They're all just commercials.
That's what I think.
They don't have the fucking soul that this movie has that we're talking about right now.
This movie has so much.
This movie talks about fuck you, Charlie Brown. This movie talks about the consumerism of Halloween.
Yes, it does. That's right, and the magical, mystical powers of the Stonehenge, of course.
Right, and the true reason for the season, which isn't wearing masks and begging for candy.
Yeah, it's Samhain.
Yeah, Sam Hain if you're Danzig.
I remember you guys were talking about Samhain, and it's one of those where it's like, my name is spelt this way, but it's pronounced this way, and I get it, whatever, but still.
It's just a weird, it's like, have you ever seen the name Siobhan? That has a B in it, for fuck's sake. Irish people just have weird fucking...
Oh, it's Irish too, okay.
Yes, yeah, that's the whole point. This guy was Irish.
I couldn't tell by the
whole fucking thing said it was a city full of Irish people. It was like the Dublin bar. Like everything was shamrocks everywhere. Silver shamrock, for fuck's sake.
I'm kidding, Murray. Oh.
And of course, the Cochran, the guy who ran the thing, went on to move to Detroit, start a new company, a new startup, OCC, and used his robotics to make RoboCop because that's the guy.
Holy
dude from the fucking hot tub.
It all makes sense.
He just changed his name and started a new life. What you can do in America, you can just start a new life.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's what happened to him.
All right, we got a lot of movie to get into, so I'm going to get into this trailer.
I have one last thing before we go to the trailer.
Okay.
We got a Joe Coleman update. Our man, Joe Coleman, friend of the show, has been on here.
Fellow heel.
Oh, yeah. He is down in Florida. He's got the tightest tan in town.
That's saying a lot in Florida.
And there might be some more news coming up with that. I'll have a follow-up. Yep, but I just wanted to put that on the radar because we love our Joe Coleman. And we're already proud of him for just having the tightest hand in town. That's a big accomplishment alone. In Florida,
if you're outshining people in Florida, you're doing something right.
Exactly. So we know he's
here.
You can,
yeah. We have no tans here.
Yeah, we have no tans. So. Absolutely not. So we know I'll do great down there, but it's no more time for tan talk. It's time for trailer talk. Yeah.
Hey kids, 3 more minutes to our review. Halloween 3. Put on your masks and enjoy Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home.
You don't really know much about Halloween. Halloween, the barriers will be down between the real and the unreal. And the dead might be looking in. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red.
Halloween, the children.
You happen to know anything about this Cochran?
All I can tell you, mister, is watch out. He's watching you, friend, I guarantee you that.
Trick or treat, trick or treat.
Hey, Mr. Cochran, just what is the final process?
Fellas, I was just kidding.
Witchcraft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment.
Hey!
Where are they taking her?
They're taking her to the factory.
I want a mask. Can I have a mask?
Just what I had in mind for you, little buddy. Why, Cocker? Why? Do I need a reason?
I've got nothing here to indicate there was ever a body at all.
Operator, this is an emergency.
I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it.
You've got to believe me!
They're going to kill us. All of us.
Stop it!
Halloween.
The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. Happy Halloween.
Stop it!
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home. Season of the Witch.
Welcome to it. We're opening up. We got a nice little Caesar-inducing jack-o'-lantern on our screen.
Yeah, some very unimpressive font work going on with the credits. I was not impressed at all.
Well, John Carpenter.
I know he works on a budget.
He found a computer, and he was making graphics himself, and he was like, guys, he's like a kid, you know, when they color a picture and everything. He's like, guys, this is pretty good, right? And they're like, we have a whole team of guys who can do it better, John. We're going to use this one.
And I want to point out that this movie did not bomb. It cost like $2 million to make and made $14 million. It bombed in regards to Halloween, the first one, which was like, I think at one time might still have the record for the highest grossing independent film of all time.
Oh,
I think Blair Witch took it, but
okay.
It had that because it made like $100 million, some crazy shit.
Jesus, okay.
Like so yes, it's a come down from Michael Myers, but still made a profit.
Eventually. Was that box office numbers?
Yeah, it was the box office. Well, according, who knows? We're going by internet shit. Who knows?
The last thing I read about it, because, again, NPR was calling, or no, there was the Atlantic. They were like 25 movies that everyone thinks are bad that are actually enjoyable and pretty good. This was one of them, and it said I think they might have been doing the 2-week rating or something, and said that it had a bad box office for 2 weeks, but I don't remember. And it doesn't matter. Because
good movie does not matter by box office, all right?
It matters to your heart.
Most of the movies we've done had shitty box office, and they're all great.
Yeah.
So there you
Except
have
the
it.
Ginty ones.
Except the Ginty ones.
My first take on Dan when I watched this for the notes was, is this man Robert Ginty's clone?
I wouldn't give Tom Atkins that much shit. I mean,
yeah.
There's nothing likable about Ginty. Like, right off the bat. Like, I mean, Dan's pretty douchey. I'm not going to get, but still, I don't know. There's something human about him, at least.
Yeah,
I don't know what word I can use.
his sex drive.
Yes. Well, not even
The fact that when he takes a shot, he actually fills the shot glass, unlike Ginty.
Yeah, he can drink his liquor.
Yeah, he's not faking a piece of shit. He is a piece of shit. Unlike Ginty, who is a human drip and fakes being a piece of shit for his movies, and then fucks his sister.
Yeah. So, right off the bat, Northern California, me and Griff, we say this a lot about movies. We have issues with timelines. We're confused. We don't know. Does this movie take place over 2 days, a month, a year?
We're always trying to... Yep.
They spoon feed us. Like, it's a week before Halloween, and they let us know day by day.
You know who did those graphics for the days? John Carpenter on his computer.
That's the only thing he contributed. He was a producer, and he did graphics.
He did
he's like,
and music.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to direct this shit. I don't care. And after this, he was like, fuck it, I'm done. I think he sold the rights to Halloween, and that's why we get these shitty Michael Myers movies.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, October 23rd, a week before Halloween, 8 days before Halloween, as we learned from the Silver Shamrock commercial that's played incessantly throughout this movie.
Oh, yeah. You could have toned that down a little bit, too. Yeah. Well. So we got a bald man, with just crazy hair. Yeah, he's got the bald in the back and receding on the front, but he is running for his dear life. I thought he was just going out for a night jog, but he looks pretty disheveled.
And he's got, you can see like something orange hanging out from his like front of his pants, like he tucked it in.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? We don't know right now.
I thought he went to some kind of wrestling show and ripped somebody's mask off and he was getting chased out of the building. That was
don't do that to a luchador.
Exactly. So I thought like everybody was coming to kill him for that. But I could tell this man was in trouble when he finally get up to the camera. For a while there, I thought he was just going for a nice night run. No, at this point in California, Murray.
Northern
California. We always do population. So what are we talking about? Northern California, 1982.
Northern? 300-400.
So there's not even going to be that many people coming after him anyways.
No.
This is a ghost town, essentially.
Yeah, it looked like it.
People came in for the gold, and then they left. And Harry is this guy's name, right?
Well, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, Harry is one of the few people remaining, likes to go on a night run. But yeah, as we're seeing finally that he's distressed, we see a car just kind of...
Very slow car.
Yeah, just doing the Michael Myers slow approach. Yeah. See, the car is now the Michael Myers.
Right. And he hides out in like a auto garage? I don't know.
It was like an auto repair shop.
Yeah, there was a lot of cars around there.
Yeah, it was like an open lot, but yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
And then we see these like dorky type suit wearing, almost like feds. I thought at the beginning, like these guys working for the government because they all wear suits.
Yeah,
clean cut,
G-men, if you will.
And he's trying to like get away from them, and he runs right into Jared Kushner. And Jared doesn't even say like halt, police, whatever. He just immediately starts strangling.
Yeah,
Harry. And he's pinning him down. He's going for the choke slam combo.
And he's got him like... Harry has kind of got a car in front of him, and then he notices as he's pinned to the ground, he's just kind of grasping around, that there's a chain near him. So I'm thinking he's going to use the chain to whip the guy in the head or something. But no.
I think he just notices that it's holding that car. Which it wouldn't, because the car should be in park. I don't know why the car would be in neutral.
Well, they had to take the parking gear off. Brake. Yeah, it's just gone. So he couldn't. Yeah.
Maybe that was why it was being repaired, because he couldn't go into park, because they had these like a concrete block connected to this chain underneath the tire holding it in place. So he grabs that chain, yanks it, the car starts rolling. And we're like, why doesn't this, what's wrong with this? I mean, Kushner's a weird guy. We all know that. He's a freak.
Oh, my God, yeah.
But still, you think even he had presence of mind to notice there's a car slowly rolling in on him.
Oh, yeah.
No.
It doesn't, and he gets the old pincer attack, and he just he barely even makes a noise. It just goes,
no sells it, totally.
And Harry is able to roll out, and he sees the car that was parked at the front of the garage, like in the little driveway there, and there's another person in there, so he's like, fuck, I gotta beat it. So he continues to run out, and this is where I believe we cut over just randomly to a gas station.
Right.
Very, very the Hitcher-like.
Very much. You see with John Ryder driving right off.
Yep.
He stole a car. He's taking off. It's like, thanks for the gas, buddy. Takes off. We get this black dude had the weirdest jaw.
He did.
And he reminded me of, and I think they cast him with this. He looked like the black guy from Night of the Living Dead with a mustache.
I think so.
And he's just watching TV, and there's a newscast going on. A big rock from Stonehenge has been stolen, and they're like, "What's going on?" And then that goes, and now commercials, and then we hear the happy 8 more days to Halloween, Halloween.
I like that you jumped to 3. We're far away from 3.
Halloween, silver.
You gonna keep going? Or you gonna do the whole thing?
And it's hypnotic almost.
Yeah,
like,
But Harry is running around. He's slamming on every window, and finally the gas attendant gets up, and he's like trying to help him, but Harry's coming in with all kinds of energy, and he latches onto this guy. They're coming.
And then he just goes in a catatonic state. He just collapses.
He's in his early 60s, mid 60s. He's just been running for like 5 miles. He was choked by Jared Kushner.
Okay, and this is where I have difficulties with this movie. Okay, we learn later on in the movie. I'm assuming Dan is like in L.A. I don't know where the fuck Dan's living, but the trip from where Dan lives to the Silver Shamrock Factory is hours away.
Yes.
They're driving. Why does the gas station attendant take him to Dan's hospital, which is apparently hours away?
Whew.
There's no hospitals in between. This is how podunk this fucking area is. That he has to drive hours.
What they told us later on is that Harry was able to go to the Santa Maria or whatever the town was called. Santa Mara. He goes to Santa Mara, and then he went to Northern California. Literally, that's what they said. So he left town and went to Northern Carolina or California.
No, we're in Northern California right now.
I understand that. But they're saying, what I'm telling you is that he's not in Santa Mara right now.
Okay.
They let him go away, and then they chased him for some reason.
So Dan lives in Northern California.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he got out of Santa Mara with all of his
okay, it all
merch.
makes sense.
Okay. Because that's where the shop is, too. So he was going back to his shop.
So okay, so then I'll give him that. So I'll say I'd say his car broke down, but we learn later they have his car. So maybe he took a bus. I don't know.
Yeah, that part I don't know. There is some holes, but
so we cut to Dan, our hero, Dan Chalice, not to be confused with Don Callis, and.
I don't think anyone's going to confuse that.
Hey, well, if you love Joe Coleman, you better get to know that name, Don Callis. So, Dan Griff was confused. He thought they were still married. I can't make sense because we just think he's just late from like coming home from work. He's a doctor.
He's a doctor.
We assume. I don't really know. I think he just goes to the hospital and just puts on a lab coat and just like says, "Do that, do this."
I mean,
because he takes off from work. He's according to his ex-wife, his job is his life, and then he takes off when some like 20-year-old pussy comes around. He's just like, "Fuck, I don't know.
I'm out of here." I mean, he could be a doctor.
Dr. Love,
yeah, Dr. Fuck.
Yeah, well, he probably raped somebody in a park like the Doctor of Love from our classic Forever Night episode.
I don't think he has to rape anybody because every woman in this movie seems to want what Dan's packing.
He probably roofies him.
Oh, come on.
He's got prescription pad. He can get any drug he wants.
Why did they give Dr. Fuck a prescription pad? They know he's going to use it for bad things.
Well, Dan, he's a little inebriated. He thinks he's got it all together. He's got 2 bags for his beautiful son and daughter.
He's got a system for drinking and driving. It's working for him. Right. He hasn't been caught yet.
He never drinks inside the car. That's his system.
That's his system. Right. Well, beer. He always drinks liquor in the car, though.
Oh. That makes perfect sense.
It keeps you awake because it hits you harder.
Okay. He's got a system. That's all we know. And his wife, his put upon wife, ex-wife, she's just like, oh, this fucking douchebag. And he wants to be the hero dad. Like, hey, I got what you kids wanted.
It starts off horribly because he opens the door and the kids come running out of the kitchen. It's nighttime. It's like 8 o'clock at night. Why are you giving your kids dinner at 8 o'clock at night? All those calories are going to sit heavy on them while they try to sleep.
When did you eat in the afternoon? We ate at 8 o'clock at night all the time.
8?
Yeah, 8? Is that late? 8 o'clock?
That's pretty late, isn't it?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were supposed to eat around 6.
No, we never did.
Okay.
But then again, my mom worked, so yeah, we had.
So the kids come running out of the kitchen, and mom is just like, "Your hands are dirty." So you could tell this woman. This is why Dan had to leave her. They're trying to make her insufferable.
Yeah, but you can if you had a dad like this, which I did, you'd understand he's a piece of shit, and you understand where your mom's coming from.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Kids, got what you've been wanting," and they open up the bags, and you can tell they sold these at the liquor store. They were just like right next to the.
They were
display.
the plastic masks. The one was like a cigar smoking clown, and the other one was like a lamb.
Lame shit I grew up on. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're like, what the fuck? We want a silver shamrock.
Yeah, Dad, this is some push shit right here.
And then even Linda, the wife, she's like, Dan, I got them the silver shamrock, the one they wanted, the one they asked for, the one you didn't care enough to even know what they wanted.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What? Masks are masks, he's just trying to brush it off." Like, and then she's like, then trying to coordinate. "Well, you're taking the kids this weekend, right?" "Oh, I am." And then his beeper goes off, saved by the beep, and he's just like, I gotta call it in, Linda. This is my job.
I have to save lives. And Linda, she snaps back with a good one.
And she's like, "You shouldn't be drunk and doctoring," because he's plastered.
Yes, he is.
And he's like, "I got a system, Linda. Don't worry about it." So he calls in the hospital. We learned that the doctor that was on call, I don't know, had diarrhea or something. So he's like, "Dan, we need you in here right now. Stat." They're using doctor talk. Stats. And he's like, "Linda, I got to go."
And you're right. He must be one of those. What are they called? The doctors that Trump had working for him, the American.
Blacks? I don't know.
I can't remember what they were called, but there's a whole field of them, and they were selling like directly hydrochloroquine and everything to people. But then they wouldn't even send them the hydrochloroquine. They wouldn't even
that
have.
Doesn't sound like something Trump would be involved with.
Yes, exactly.
So he gets there, and as he gets there, we see Harry being rolled in. The garage guy, the gas station guy, is
The
like,
nighttime runner.
"Can I leave now? I dropped off this bike. I did the right thing."
I'm just trying to do the right thing. My mom always brought me.
He's a black man, so he's scared. Like, "Did you do this?" And he's like, "No, I just brought him in."
And in a town of 300 people, he's probably like, one or two black minority there.
Yeah.
So he's right to be afraid of all these crazy white people.
So Dan's like, immediately get some ivermectin into him right now.
We got just smear it on there. You see these open wounds? Smear it with ivermectin.
And he's clutching this Halloween mask, a pumpkin mask, and he's just whispering, "They're coming to kill us all."
That's really weird.
And then he just goes back into the catatonic state.
Dan wanted to have a beer with him because he thought maybe he wanted to rap about some stuff, but he passed out before he got a chance. So Dan's like, "Well, shit, if he's going to be passed out, I'll let the nurses take care of this one." And he's got like the one nurse who's like 60-year-old woman, but she's got the hips that Dan likes. So they walk out of the room together, and Dan's like, "I'm going to get a beer. What do you want?" And she's like, "Oh, you know what I want." And he snickers at her. He's like, "Yeah, I do." And just gets a handful of cake. Just a big old scoop.
And then she gets a little slice of his.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, you." And then he's like, I gotta get a little hair of the dog. And he goes into his, because he's got like flasks like hidden all over the hospital and shit. So he
doesn't even hide it. He has it in the fridge. He has it in a lunch bag with his name on it. It's just beers. Just a six.
So he just lays out on a couch in this room and just puts a funnel in his mouth and pours that booze, sweet booze down there. So Jared's back, and he's lurking. You see a car roll up very slowly, roll up to the hospital, and then he gets out, walks up to Harry's room. Harry's just fucking out of it.
When you're a white man in a suit, they let you do whatever you want.
It's true.
So even if anybody saw them, they'd be like, "He's probably a doctor or something." He had the same wash hands procedure, so they were like, "That's got to be a doctor."
Right. So he's got black gloves on.
Yeah, he puts on black gloves for some reason.
Well, he puts on it because he doesn't want to get his hands dirty, because he gouges Harry's fucking eyes out.
This hit me. This is pretty.
And not like the Three Stooges way. It's like thumb and like forefinger.
Yeah.
Pincher move.
Yeah, and he gets in there and he just like pushes down like so hard. Like that's a migraine I wouldn't want to have. And then for the last, like the coup de grace, he like just pinches and rips out.
Yeah.
Oh, this shit was brutal.
And then he just wipes the fucking glove on like a curtain.
He's doing this all so slowly. He's not like in a rush at all. He's not hesitating. And we learned something new. If you're getting your eye sockets pushed in, you can't make a noise either.
Can't.
You're just so traumatized or something.
I don't know why. Wasn't he like covering his mouth? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
He might have been covering.
He
his
might
mouth.
have. Yeah, that would make sense.
And the nurse walks in on this, and she obviously screams. This guy's just been gouged to death.
Yeah.
And he just walks right past her, walks right out. Because, once again, white man in a suit. He's like, I can do whatever I want.
Right.
And he does.
Yeah. Dan is woken up by the shrieking. And
they actually grab the black janitor who's just mopping this, like floor outside. Like, what did you do? And he's like, what? I'm mopping the floor.
I think you're looking for the honky that just left, dripping blood off himself. All right.
I've heard that one before.
We'll go to the parking lot, but you stay here, mister. The only other black guy in Northern California at this point in time.
So Jared goes to the car, gets in it, grabs a can of gasoline, pours it on him. He's going to reenact the cover of the fucking Rage Against the Machine album.
Of course.
Lights himself on fire. Car immediately explodes. That doesn't happen in real life.
That was a Silver Shamrock car.
Oh, explosive. It's like a self-destruct car.
Yeah, just like how you sometimes have the tooth you bite down on. They have the car that they light on fire.
That happened in Dune. Yeah, he no-sells it. He's like that Buddhist monk. He just fucking burns alive.
Yep. So this is like a long night, early into the morning. You know, all the like cops and everything are there, and Dan's trying to call up the ex-wife to explain, I can't come home. I can't take the kids. I can't come home. I was here and my patient got murdered. And she's like, yeah, Dan, I've heard this one before. How many murdered patients have you had in this month alone? It's got to be like 20.
This time it's for real.
Police officer, come here. Come here. Tell my ex-wife that this was a real murder.
Yes, ma'am. This was a real murder.
A Merle murder?
And then Dan, as he's talking to her, he notices that Silver Shamrock pumpkin mask. And he's like, what does this have to do with his... He's just like, his investigative journalism's coming out of him. Because he wanted to be originally. He fell into fake doctoring, but he really wanted to be a fake journalist.
Everybody wants to be an investigative journalist. And once you hit that, I get it. I mean, we've been so good at it that I know everyone wants to do
We're
this.
naturals.
We really are.
Sunday the 24th, very next day. Harry's daughter, Ellie, shows up. She identifies the body. She's like, that's my father. Wednesday the 27th.
I see. I skipped over that. Murray's like, no, we're putting it in here.
Well, we introduce her character.
We don't need to introduce her there.
Yes, we do, because he notices. He's like, oh, I like what I see there. And
he notices every female in the hospital, yes.
Wednesday the 27th. Dan is talking with Teddy, the medical examiner at the hospital.
Assistant. She wasn't even the head. She was the assistant.
She's going to be given head because she is into Dan. And he's just like, what? I need to know what was going on with that guy. She's like, look, the lab results have not come in yet. I'll let you know.
It's really difficult to get fingerprints off ashes.
And then he's like, man, I want to fuck this chick. What's going on with your life? What's going on, you know?
He's already fucked her.
Yeah, but he's still got to keep her...
He's completely got her under his thumb. He was like, "Are you sure you can't take a look at this a little earlier?" And then he like swings her around because she's just sitting in a swivel stool, and she's like, "Oh, Dad, maybe I could get you a couple of flowers, maybe a 6-pack, and a couple of Vinny sandwiches." Oh, Dad, like the first time? Oh yeah, like the first time. Then
feels like the first time.
And then he lays a fat one on her. He just smooches her and it goes away, and we cut away.
Friday the 29th.
We're just going 2 days at a time here.
Dan's in his usual place at the bar. And he's watching TV. There's a cartoon on in a bar. I don't know what that was going on with.
I've never seen that.
And even he's like, can you turn this fucking channel? And they turn it on. A little meta thing. There's a commercial for Halloween 1 going to be playing on Halloween night. And we're like, oh, I'm watching Halloween 3. I get that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, turn this shit off. I don't want to watch this. And he turns on the football game, which you should always be playing at a bar.
Right.
And then he's just drowned in his sorrows. It's like 2 in the afternoon, for fuck's sake.
As far as we know. Yeah, I guess when Ellie opens the door here, light just shines right in. So that makes sense. I guess it was Friday. What football is he watching on a Friday? Man.
There wouldn't be back then. No, there wouldn't be any football. Like high school football, I guess.
He just loves alcohol.
Maybe it's a replay.
Football.
I don't know.
Could be
I
a
don't
replay.
know. I have no idea.
So Allie wanders in, and I don't know how women gravitate towards Dan. It's just he's got an aura to him. And so they just wander to him. He's like a horrible drunk. His wife.
Well, we learn later on why she does, but she's just drawn to him.
Wait, we do?
Yes, we do.
Because she wants to fuck him?
No.
Okay.
So she walks in, and she's like, "Hey, you're my dad." Why was he was at fucking Harry's funeral? She like drops that. Like, why? He didn't know this guy. He knew this guy all of 10 minutes. He just put some ivermectin in him and then walked off. And he goes to the fucking funeral.
I didn't catch that.
Yes, she's like, "I saw you." But I know now. It makes sense that I told you we had to put in her first appearance because he spotted her and was like, "If I go to the funeral,
okay,
I can totally like I care."
I like that you stumbled on this though, but you're right. That does bring a good point because Dan wants to fuck every woman he sees in his hospital. Right. He saw her in the hospital. This makes sense. This makes sense. What breadcrumbs did he leave to get her into this bar though?
I don't know.
It's very interesting. Very interesting.
And so he's like, "Did my dad say anything before he died?" "Oh, yeah. He said, tell my daughter Ellie that I love her."
Yeah, sure he did. And she's ready to walk out, but Dan stops her. He just grabs her arm, and he's really stressing it. He wants to show her his strength. He actually said some really heavy shit. Do you want to hear it? Do you think you can handle it? Well, yeah, I think I can handle it. So he's like, all right. I don't remember where we go from here, but he's like, I got some real shit I got to tell you about.
He's like, this smells like a mystery. Let's go check out your dad's toy shop. So they go to the toy shop, novelty shop, whatever the fuck he was. This is garbage he was selling. It's a dollar store. And she's talking about how her dad, last time she saw him, he was going to pick up some shipments from Santa Mira, Silver Shamrock.
He writes down every single thing he does in a day. So he had the whole itinerary.
Took his shit, wiped twice, like everything.
Everything. And so she's reading through it all. Dan's kind of disgusted by it. He's not really caring about the $1 toys, but he's like, would my kids like some of this garbage? Right, so he's putting a couple things, yo-yos and like,
he's borrowing a couple things.
Well, he's not going to need them.
Yeah. Well, not for him, for his kids. He doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, looks at the itinerary. It's like, wait a minute. It says here the day before he died, he went to Santa Mira.
Interesting.
Should we go to Santa Mira?
What's the significance of Santa Mira? And I don't remember if it was right here that they're like, well, the Silver Shamrock Company.
No, I think that was a little later.
I know we get the exposition dump when we're heading over there, but I thought she knew that Silver Shamrock was located there.
I think it said that he was in the itinerary that he was going up there to buy masks.
Yes, that had to be it. And so they put that together.
So Dan, he's supposed to take the kids this weekend for trick-or-treating. He's like, I got an out.
Yeah, because Ellie's like, well, shit, that's like so many hours away. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to stay the night.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
I'm going to have to stay the night out there all by myself. And Dan, of course, his ears perk. His flask falls out. He spits out a little booze. And he's just like, yeah, you're right. I suppose I got a doctor's conference or something, but I could probably figure out a way to take you out there. It'll be my. Don't worry about it. So he goes and calls his wife, and he's like, "Honey, oh, there's a great big conference. I gotta go."
Calls the wife, has a 6-pack on top of the fucking payphone.
Yes.
I mean, he's ready to party.
He is so ready to party. Oh my god, there's a big conference. I got it. What it's about. I can't tell you what it's about. Secret doctor shit. We're gonna talk about how we're gonna withhold some hydrochloroquine from real Americans. That's what we're gonna talk about. And the wife is just going on and on. And he just hangs up on her. She said, "Okay."
They hop in her car because he ain't using his gas, and they drive up there.
That's a good call.
And this is where we get the exposition dump. We learn the factory's in the middle of fucking nowhere, probably Fresno or someplace. the largest maker of Halloween masks in America. Very, very limited amount of masks. Only 3. They only make 3.
I know. Skeleton, pumpkin, witch.
Yes.
Green witch, the real witch.
And the town, super Irish, because Conall O'Cochran, who made his fortune off toys, moved into novelties, and now he's moving into the Halloween mask market. He's always diversifying.
Yeah.
And so it's a all Irish town. They're proud of their Irish thing. And also, when they get there, they notice cameras are everywhere.
Everywhere. And
which in 83 was pretty weird. Now it's everywhere.
Yeah. And it's really interesting as well because I've heard of towns like this. They still do exist where it's like the town. I mean, I don't think that's too much of a stretch. Where it's like everybody's there only for like the one job. So we have like a forklift company in Ohio. It's the same situation. And I had some friends who were doing work down there, and they're like, it's the creepiest shit. They basically explained this scene where all the townsfolk are like slowly turning and staring them down like, you're not from around here.
Yeah, the corporations like own everything. So basically they pay the people and then they get their money back selling them the goods that they own. So they're basically getting free labor, just giving people housing and food, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it's like, you ain't from around here, is you? You ain't from around here, are you? It's just, all it is fucking whiskey and Lucky Charm cereals. All they sell in this town because it's an Irish town. Maybe you can get some corned beef every once in a while.
I was going to say, I feel like they have corned beef maybe on Fridays. Oh, you know what? Thursday's
Can't
corned
eat
beef.
it?
Fish is Friday.
All right, you can't eat meat on Friday.
What?
No.
Is that an Irish thing?
The Catholic thing, which is an Irish thing.
Oh. Well, I thought they did fish on Fridays.
That's not considered meat.
Well, that's what I just said. They do corned beef on Thursday and fish on Friday.
I know. I was agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
And then you get all, what?
What?
So, yeah, fucking Irish as fuck. Everyone's just drunk. Like, you can tell they're Irish because all the women have black eyes. And so, hey, I'm half Irish. I can say that.
Oh, okay.
So they go there, like, Dan's like, maybe we got to stay the night. We can't. This is too late to drive back. They're not. The leads are dried up because they thought somehow there'd be information just laying out there for them.
I know. Dan's plan again. Dan is only trying to get in this woman's pants. A woman who legit, the actress was half his age. She was 22, and Dan is 53 in this movie. Or Dan's actor is 53 at this time. So yeah, there's a glaring difference there. But he's just like, well, you know what? We can't just go straight up to the building and ask where your dad's at or anything. We're going to have to really think this one through.
Well, they notice all the cameras, so we need privacy.
Yeah, we need some privacy. We need to think of a plan. We need to do it discreetly. I noticed there was a gas station with a hotel attached to it, or motel, rather. Let's go over there. Let's get us a couple of rooms, 2 rooms, and, we'll figure out a plan.
And then he just looks in the camera and winks at us. It took me out of it, but he broke the fourth wall. So they go to the motel. It's owned by Rafferty. Hello, Faith Magora, how are you? Do you need a room, do you? And they're like, yes, we're the Smiths. We're a married couple here. We're honeymooning at this shitty factory town.
It reminded me of Rucker leaning over on, what's his name, and messing with him in The Hitcher, because he's doing the same thing. They're pretending to be a married couple, and he's just groping all over Ellie. And I was like, Ellie's not going to be into this. And I was wrong, apparently.
And then he's like, take the Rafferty guy out for a sec. He's like, I think he was like, I got to take a shit or something. They're like, oh, it's right there next to the registry.
Yeah.
So he's like, perfect plan. I need to look at the registry. So he goes in, opens that book, sees Harry Grimbridge.
Oh, he was here.
And then he's like, I think I found a clue.
So he pulls out, the cash and pays just cash. He doesn't know how much the room is.
Yeah, he just throws $40 in. That's enough.
Yeah. He comes back. He's like, hey, I left you $40. Oh, that's plenty.
Plenty enough. And this is how great their plan was. She has like a tiny little bag. He's like, this is for both of you. He's like, well, we pack smartly. We're used to traveling. And then just as like you think Rafferty's going to question him, fucking Kid Rock music starts blaring and shit. We see this RV that's fucking burn rubber and skid out into the parking lot. It's like, American Badass, or I'm a cowboy, I'm a fucking finger, whatever the fuck that song is. And fucking the loud asshole Americans bust out. And they're loud clothes. We need Buddy and his family. He's got a little shit-eating son with his fucked up mongoose bike. And his fucking wife with her fucking doily dresses.
Yes, very
Which,
doily.
in real life, I learned this on IMDb, so it's probably bullshit. That was Tom Atkin, Dan's real-life wife at the time of this filming. See, now you know why he wanted to fuck the 20-year-old.
Oh.
So they're like, hey there, but they're super friendly. They're like, hey there, we're for, because he's, a Buddy is like the biggest seller of Silver Shamrock masks in America.
Yeah.
And he's I guess it's like Willy Wonka. He gets the tour, the special tour,
Yeah, you're right. Very Willy Wonka-ish.
So he's just like, hey, man, we're here for the tour. Are you for it? Yeah, you buy her too? And they're like, no, we're here for honeymoon. This fucking, what the fuck? Yeah,
Who comes to this place? Hey, I mean, if you want to fucking weird places, this is the place to be.
I made a mistake. That's not his wife. His wife is the person who come just after that, another buyer, Marge.
Marge.
That's his real life wife, Tom
Okay.
Atkin's wife. Not that much better, but she's just like, this fucking shithole town, I gotta be here to get my fucking masks.
They're stiffing me on my orders. They're stiffing the little businesses. That's how the big corporations
I bet
always do
Walmart
it.
gets all the Silver Shamrock
You
masks
know
they
Walmart
want.
does. You know Walmart does. And there's a nice moment where Cochran drives by and like everybody just stops and watches as
Like
this
kneel,
little.
they take their hats off, they bow.
Yeah, that's what Rafferty was doing.
Right.
Yeah, he was on one knee.
And they're like, that's Mr. Cochran. He's the greatest man in the world. And they're like, this sounds weird. Why is, I'd be weirded out too if everyone started kneeling, but they roll with it. And they're like, okay, I think we're onto something.
So Dan, he is finally wrapped back around and everything. Like, I don't know. He just kind of bows out anytime a kid gets involved. So he's just disappearing and reappearing. And, they meet up in there. Ellie and him meet up. He said he was going to get 2 rooms. He only got 1 room. And he's
Well,
like,
the covers are married, so that would look strange.
right. Yeah. So he's slightly changing the rules each time. He's slowly working his way into that bed. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I'll hit the hay. I'll go out to the car.
Well, first he's like, should I get another room? Because it would be kind of inappropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, you are old enough to be my daughter.
Yeah. Old enough to be my daughter.
Yeah. Or young enough. It doesn't matter. Semantics. And he's just like, I mean, I could sleep in the car. I mean, it'd probably be more comfortable in the car because I live on the floor. Because of course I'm gonna sleep on the floor if I share the room with you.
Right? Yeah, I like that. He's like, I could sleep in the car. It'd be more comfortable.
No, it would
than
not
the
be comfortable
floor.
in the car. I'd rather sleep on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's just like, don't be ridiculous. You can stay in the room.
Yeah. Well, Dr. What's his last name?
Chalice.
Dr. Chalice, let me ask you, where do you want to sleep? And he just fucking...
He's like, on top of you! Ah!
He
And he
just-
jumps on her. He's like, she turns to him, he's naked. He's just standing there naked.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yoink, and jumps on her.
That's a real dumb question, Miss Gimbridge. Oh, God, this is the creepiest.
So, 6 p.m. rolls around. That's curfew time in Santa Mira.
Yeah.
Not really. It's relaxed because it ain't going to stop Dan from getting some booze because he walks out,
He is a booze hound.
gets a box of Lucky Charms, some condoms, and some whiskey because he's in Irish town. No, he gets some beer, I think. Or I think he does get a bottle of whiskey.
He got like a
He does it
giant
hobo
bottle.
style. He wraps the fucking brown paper bag around
he
it.
brown bags it. And he's walking around and he's sucking the shit off that bottle. He's loving it. He's loving every second of it. It's been like 3 hours. And he might have had some light intercourse in the meanwhile. So
Some
you
heavy
know.
petting at least.
At least. So you know he needs a drink. He needs a picker-upper. And I think he gets a cigarette out too. Like he needs the full 9. He's got to recover. Oh, man.
And we get a fake jump scare where he runs into a hobo.
This is a good-looking hobo, too. This is a classic hobo.
Classic hobo.
Very
He's got
classic.
this dirt smudges on his face, a stocking cap.
He's got like the full suit, but it's kind of like tattered and everything, and the nice dress hat. Yeah, very good hobo.
And he gives Dan the real skinny about what's going on at Santa Mira. It's like,
Yeah.
I grew up here. You think he'd give me a job? No, he brings in non-union Mexicans to do all his fucking mask work. I can do that work. I I can make a mask. And it's like, no locals hired at all. And I'm telling you, there's some weird shit going on in that fucking factory.
And Dan's eating this. Dan
Well,
is literally.
the first thing, I gotta say, the first thing he says is, "Can I have a sip? I got no diseases."
Yes. And Dan looks him in the lips and goes, "Those lips look safe to me."
Right.
Hands him the bottle.
Right.
And he says, "Don't backwash though."
No.
And then he's like, "Can I get a cigarette now?" If you give a hobo a swig off your bottle, he's gonna ask for a cigarette and he's gonna ask for money.
It's called hobo etiquette.
It is called hobo etiquette. So Dan has to start rolling out the bills.
Yeah. Well, I guess when you're a hobo, once you get something, you gotta ask for more. So he's like, "Got any money too?"
Right.
And he's like, he pulls out the dollar.
But he gives him a lot of information. He gives him skinny on the town. He tells him about all the fucking, disease of this corporation.
Not really a lot of information. All we learned is that locals fucking got the jobs. That's basically it.
Well, we learned.
And some weird shit's going on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he's like, "I'm going to burn that place down." He's just making threats like a drunk bum would.
This is the last Halloween. And he's just fading into the darkness. Last Halloween.
So the hobo lives like in a junkyard.
Yes.
And he's got the old cheese whiz sandwich. We all have been there, just some cheese whiz on a cracker. That's your meal for the day.
He did it with such a nice flourish, too, because he was like flinging his hand up in the air and catching it all on the cracker. It was like a cartoon. This guy's got some great cheese whiz skills.
And then he stumbles into two Jared Kushners.
Double Kush.
Kush. And they give him the Kush push because they ham him in. They're doing like a hobo sandwich. They're hamming him in.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't say anything. And then they just push him down. Like I thought they were going to force him to suck their dicks.
The way the guy pushed his head down, it reminded me of David Hess. Like that's a Hess move. So I was like, oh my God, what if? Let's go ahead. Theater of the imagination. You get rid of Jared Kushner bots and you put in David Hess.
No, because that would something fishy was up if you saw David Hess.
Okay.
You'd be
You're right, 100%.
So yeah, and you think he's just about to go down on him, and then he just rips the fucking hobo's head off.
Yes.
And holy shit, it takes a lot of strength to do that.
Yeah, that was another cool. I love just like this weird brutish strength these fucking Kushner clones have. I love it. Right. All right, so Ellie's back at the motel. She actually stepped out. She just went down to the what do they call it, the vending machine, and got herself a nice glass bottle of cola.
Right.
And Marge is out there, and she's like, "Oh, you guys, Marge is probably bored out of her mind. She doesn't want to talk to any more of these Irish.
She already
folk.
spent one night in this town. That's enough for anybody. And that's the second night,
right?
Because she can't get that meeting with fucking Cochran that she wants.
Right. And I saw that book she was settling into bed with. That wasn't an Anne Rice. She was reading that old fucking... Wow. Yeah.
She looks like a total Anne Rice fanatic.
I know. Anne Rice wasn't around yet. So she was like, man, if only someone would make these vampires sexier. And I don't know. There's something missing.
But so she's complaining about the mask. She's just like, look at these. Who cares about the tags? The quality of the tags is bothering her.
What the fuck was this? I was like, the tag falling off? That's a problem?
You're supposed to take the tag off. I actually, that's a plus for me.
Yes.
You can get the tag off.
And it wasn't even like a paper tag. It was like a plastic token.
Yeah, it's a silver shamrock.
That they cheaply glued onto it. It was,
that upsets her. Well, she's a businesswoman, so it would make sense to her that the tags keep falling off. She's trying to sell these things, not wear them.
Yes, that's true.
So she's just like, this is just bullshit. And then the tag, she goes into a room and the tag falls onto the ground.
Yep.
And breaks open.
Apparently. I thought it just flipped over.
I think you're right. I think it really did flip over.
Just flipped over. Oh, so Ellie goes back, and I'm thinking because she is like doing some weird shit here. Like her mannerisms are very strange.
Right.
And she seems to be shuddering like somebody who just kissed Robert Ginty. And she climbs in the shower, and I noticed that she turned it past the hottest setting to hell setting. Yeah. So I was like scalding. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, she's burning off her
taking
flesh.
Taking a rape shower, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then she gets out of the shower, and she or does that come up later when she gets out of the shower?
Well, no, she gets out of the shower.
Okay. And she's doing like this weird like shimmy. She grabs a blanket and like wraps it, and she's like cold. I couldn't figure out what was happening here.
I think she was just method acting. She was going like, this is my first movie. I'm just gonna overact this scene because it was kind of weird.
So weird. Okay. Anyways.
But Dan calls in Teddy again, and he's just like, look, any leads? And she's like, there must be some problem at the lab. We got no human remains back. It's just car parts.
It's nothing but car parts.
This plastic and metal is all we're getting back.
So Dan returns back to the hotel room, and I'm thinking he's going to be meeting a whole different woman. She's very cold now. That's why she wrapped herself in the blanket.
She came to her senses.
She came to her senses, yeah. She's like, did I just let a 50-year-old man, like, make out with me? What's wrong with me? I'm a hot piece of ass.
Right.
You shouldn't be talking that way about yourself. You're a beautiful woman. But instead, she has coiled herself in that blanket, opens it up for him, and she's wearing some kind of lingerie, and Dan is like, send it in.
That's exactly a very John DeHart thing. Dan is like a chubby John DeHart.
Yeah.
And so he lays her down, does a little nibble on the nips.
Yep.
And we get a nice shot of the mole-covered hairy back of Dan. It was very uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. And they apparently have some passionate love into the night.
Yeah.
They are stirred awake for some reason, or she just kind of wakes him up a little bit.
Well, they're fucking slamming against Marge's room. She's like, fuck, you know. Because she's like, she's reading her erotica. She's getting turned on, but she's like, I want a man. I could be with. Why isn't Dan with me? Because
he needs a woman, not a girl.
Right. And she gets out of bed to like bang on the wall, and then she notices that silver shamrock.
Oh, that.
And we see, like you said, it just flipped over, so we see the microchip.
Yeah.
She's like, why the fuck is there a microchip? This is like, you know, very prescient because we got like the scanners and all that shit now.
That's right.
So she looks at shit back then. It was like literally people were cashiering, doing that shit for everything.
Right.
I remember when scanners were new. And so she's like looking at it. She's like, pulls out a bobby pin out of her hair. I don't know why she does this, but she starts fucking with the chip.
You just got to prod with shit. She's bored by that book. She wants to fucking poke into
Yeah, she's like,
something
there's
else.
no vampires fucking in this book at all. There's some werewolves, but that ain't hot.
That's not hot.
And then a laser just shoots out of the fucking thing and right in her face. And she's just like, her face is blown away. She lays back in the bed, and then a bug just crawls out of her mouth and just climbs up on her face. And we're like, wow, I get that a laser. Why is there bugs?
Yeah. I mean, I like the bug. I like that it just like melts your face and then bugs start coming. I kind of like it. It's
bugs
weird.
And snakes.
Bugs, snakes, yeah.
So
yeah, now we've got like a whole emergency team coming in, and Dan and Ellie are done with their coitus, and of course Dan now realizes, hey, how old are you?
Can I go to jail for doing this?
Because he probably
first of all, that's a classic thing. He's like, he thinks about the consequences after the fact.
Yes. Oh my God, destructive behavior.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dan is an act. We need to get smarter people to study him. We don't have a psychiatrist on the show yet.
Yeah.
We got to get somebody.
And he's just like, wait, can I go to jail for fucking you?
Because he heard the sirens of the crew showing up, and he's like, "Is this a sting operation?" That makes sense to me.
And then she's like, "No, I'm old enough." I really think that's what she said. She's like, she said, "I look young for my age."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Send it in, ready for round 2, baby."
No, she was pressing up for round 2, and he's like, "Really? Do I have to?" And she climbed on top of him. She's like, "You have to." And that's when it gets interrupted by, all this ruckus.
All the sirens, and they look out, and then he's like, "Whoa, baby," because he's a two-pump chump. He can't go 53. He can't go twice in one night.
And a heavy drinker,
right?
Like
so his dick ain't working.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is before Viagra. So
not to mention, he had all that Irish whiskey.
Whiskey dick.
Total whiskey dick.
And he gets knocked down. He gets up again. So he gets up. He's like, whoa, we got the sirens. We got to check out, see what's going on. And then we see these doctors, I'm using air quotes, just the Jared Kushner's all in lab coats.
Yeah.
Like he does. A classic Dan move. Put a lab coat on. I'm a doctor now.
Yes, Dan.
So he notices something's afoot. Something's not right.
Dan probably thought that Marge was into some shit, like into some weird sex shit. Like he probably thought that she was inviting over like 7 dudes to pound her, and she was going to film it and sell it because he's into that.
Right.
He's like, maybe I should go get my lab coat, see if I can get involved on that.
So I think she's like totally wrapped up, and she's in a gurney, and they're putting her in the back of like a fucking hearse or some shit. I don't know.
They were putting her in the back of a cargo van. So hearse, no. Cargo van, yes.
And then we just hear this round of applause, and let me see, it's Cochran shows up. Because every time he shows up, this like, the red carpet rolls out. Nothing to see here, people. Nothing to see here.
Dan, I'm a doctor. I know I'm not wearing a coat. If you want to give me a coat, I'll put it on as proof. But I'm a doctor. I could help with this woman. She apparently needs immediate help.
No. We don't have a hospital here. We're taking her to the factory.
Yeah.
We'll fix her up in the factory. The best emergency facility ever. And then as he walks off, he goes to one of the cushioners, and he's just like, misfire. And then fucking Dan hears that, and he's like, misfire? What does that mean?
Are they doing this just to lure him further? Because, like...
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
So, Saturday the 30th. This is Devil's Night to people in Detroit. Dan calls up Teddy one more time. And she's just like, I got nothing for you. I don't know what's going on. It's almost as if nobody was in that car.
And we're looking down at her like little evidence trays or whatever, and it is just like ashen remains, coils, springs, gears.
And he's like, Teddy, come on, Teddy. You want a little bit of the Dan Dick? Look, can you look into Cochran for me? Can you look up? How would she be able to get that information? She just works at a hospital.
I don't know.
But he's like, you get some deep dick in, and maybe, if you're good, you get some dinner too. I'll take you out to fucking, Panda Bear, whatever that Panda. What's that Chinese restaurant?
You're thinking of Panda Express.
Panda Express.
Panda Bear.
Shows you I've never eaten there. Maybe I'll take you to Chipotle. It's like, I know you like diarrhea.
Chipotle.
Chipotle. Well, it's Dan. Only the best from Dan.
You can get one $5 burrito. No chips. No guac.
Yeah, you don't get the guac. That's extra.
Oh, God.
So, Ellie and the next day, they go to, like, I guess they got kind of like a lot of, like, places do, factories. They have the gift shop and, like, the tour and all that shit.
Right.
So they stop in there because they want to talk to Cochran. They want to see what's going on here.
It was more like a front office operation.
And they want to know, like, what happened with her father. Like, did he pick up this or I think their cover was they didn't get their order.
Yeah. And so they were being like, did you have a guy come in? His name was Harry. He didn't have much hair on his head.
Ironic.
No, I don't really remember anybody like that. Can you check, like, your books or something?
And they look it up, and they look here. On the 23rd, he picked up this case of mass. He's like, hey, Charlie, didn't he? He's like, yeah, I loaded it onto his station wagon.
Yeah, and they even pull out the make and color of the car and the year, and he's like, yeah, the ashtray, or the cigarette lighter's broken on it, the ashtray's a little jammed. It's like, that's a lot of details. Mm. But, yeah, that's his car. That's it.
And they're like, damn, I guess we're done here. I guess my dad...
Yeah, it looked like Ellie was eased by this. Like, shit, okay. I thought with all the weird clues and the fact that they were murmuring about misfires, I was like, okay, this was definitely something, but clearly not the case.
And then you just hear door open, big fart gets ripped. It's Buddy and his obnoxious family. And he's like, hey, what's happening? My buddy Dan. He just met this guy yesterday. They're best fucking friends now.
Yeah, well,
because he wants to do wife swapping. It's what he wants to do.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, right,
yes.
but he wants Ellie. He's just like,
Yeah.
And he's like, don't worry, my kid's got Atari. He won't, we'll put him in the other room. Don't worry about it.
I mean, he's got to be thinking if Dan can fuck her, she'll fuck me.
Right. Yeah. Hope springs eternal. And so... He's just like, my buddy, what's going on? We're here. I'm the #1 seller at Silver Shamrock. I'm getting the tour, baby. I'm going to meet Cochran.
Yeah. And
do you want to come along for the tour?
Did you speak of the devil and the devil appears? See, that's fun wordplay right there. Well, not wordplay, symbolism. Anyways, Cochran just happens to walk in the door as they start talking about how Cochran's going to meet him personally. And he's just like, oh, Ellie... Grimbledon, whatever her name was. Humplestiltskin. Miss Humplestiltskin, I'm sorry to hear about your order not coming through for your dad. I'm going to give you the order today for free, in full, on the house. Very redundant. For free, on the house.
gratis.
Yeah.
And like everyone's just like, he's so great, but he's like, this guy's awesome. You want to come on the tour with us? Can he, Mr. Cochran? Can he? I think he can do it. Yes, Dan and Telly can come. Why not?
Yeah, he seemed kind of just like, oh yes, I was just about to invite them. It's getting spooky.
So they got a little like mini museum of Cochran. This is the fake dog shit I invented, and this is the whoopee cushion, and then we see the masks. And he takes them back to show him the process of making the masks. And for this huge fucking seller of masks, there's like 20 people who work for this in this factory.
Yeah.
They supply all the masks, like literally millions of masks. They're good workers.
They really are. And it's just like dudes pouring plastic into molds. Like, man, they got to be working like 24 hours a day if they're going to fill out that many orders.
Exactly, and they got to hand paint them and all that shit.
And hand paint them.
And he's going through the whole process. And we paint him here, and then a fucking Billy, the little dipshit kid, I want a mask! And he just grabs one off the conveyor belt. Like, no, Billy. You want a one that's been through the final process. That doesn't have a tag on it.
What is it with these fucking clowns and the tag? All their kids are like, I cut the tags off my shit, but apparently kids... Well, actually, it makes sense. How do people wear hats nowadays?
Yeah, it was a hood thing where you just can have the tag still on it.
You gotta have the tag still on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cochran was ahead of his time.
It probably came full circle. Wait, people weren't doing that in the 80s? I thought maybe it came full circle.
The hat thing you're talking about,
Yeah.
I can't remember in high school, so it would have been like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, it came back around.
And so he's just like, here you go, and he gives him one with a tag.
Yeah, and then we head outside with Buddy and Cochran to the shipping area, and they're just talking about, trade secrets and all that. And he's like, yeah, Buddy's asking, you got to tell me about your trade secrets. I got to know. I'm your best salesman. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And they walk, and they're standing in front of this very ominous-looking doorway that's red paint on a white door, final processing.
Yeah.
And
neon light pointing to it.
We have not seen Dan put out a drink for any reason. Even when he's fucking, he's got like a tube systems set up so we can
beer hat.
Yeah, so he can still slurp down beer while he's fucking. This is the first time I've seen him put down a drink because he's got his flask out and he slowly puts it down. He's like, final processing.
And like Buddy's like, come on, I got to see what goes on in that room. Oh, I'm sorry. This is where the magic happens. No one can come in here. Trade secrets.
So Cochran puts an arm around Buddy and walks him away, but Dan hangs back for a second. He's looking around and he's noticing there's Kush clones everywhere. It's like there's Kush clone here, there's Kush clone everywhere. I can't say this shit. I can't say this shit.
Kush clones everywhere.
Kush clones, and I'm taking a bath.
And he's walking out there. He's like, don't look at him. Don't look him in the eye. But don't you notice everyone looks like Jared Kushner here? And then they walk by a garage, and they see Harry's station wagon.
Yeah. And Ellie freaks the fuck out.
Right. And he's like, don't let on.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
But no, she's gone frantic in this moment, and she rushes at the car, and two Kush clones just like walk out and just like push her back or something, and Dan's like, no, come back here. Old Daddy Dan will give you the dick. That'll calm you down.
Well, they're like, we need to get the fuck out of this town. Let's go back to the hotel, get our shit, the one little bag, and go home. So before he leaves, Dan's like, I got to make a call. Who did he call? Teddy again?
He's trying to call up the police.
Oh, okay.
But he can't get any kind of outside line.
And according to IMDb, the voice that's saying you can't make a call is Jamie Lee Curtis's voice.
Interesting. That's kind of cool. That's cool. That's awesome.
They can't because they run everything in this town, so he can't get a call out.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, fuck, we'll just get the hell out of here. So then he comes back to the room, and Ellie's gone.
Yep. And it only takes another minute before 5 Kush clones come up to the front door. And so Dan, he's somehow incredibly elusive. I don't know where he gets this from. Maybe running out on his wife, on his family.
Yeah, exactly. He snuck out a lot of back windows in his life.
Oh, yeah. I can't think of a fun way to say it. He's really good at bailing. That's his superpower.
Right.
Yeah, he is.
And he does it here because, like a pro, he sneaks right out the back window. And it's like, this window is like 6 inches high. I don't know how he did. He just like a snake. He just
That's when he is at his most.
He has no bones, I think. He's like a blob. He just goes out.
He's definitely got a lot of chunk on him, so.
So he's running away. He's like eluding these fucking Kushners everywhere in the town.
Yeah, we've got cars. It's so dark, you just see headlights coming up, and Dan, when he sees some headlights coming, he'll duck under something, and he's managing to hide it, elude them all over the place. And, even for how drunk he is and everything, he somehow makes it to the headquarters without getting caught.
Right. Sneaks right on the property. All these cameras everywhere. Somehow he sneaks
82 cameras. So you got to think about that. In the middle of the night. And even their factory.
Really bad.
Even their factory had like bad lighting.
Well, it was good mood lighting.
Well, it was good mood lighting.
Not good for doing factory work.
Exactly.
But that's much like any room in the X-Files. It was always like dark with just like one light. Like she's like, Scully's examining a body and there's like one fucking light in a dark pitch black room.
Oh, yeah.
But so yeah, he sneaks. He's like, I got to check out what's on. The answers have to be in the final processing room.
Has to be.
So he sneaks into there,
and he's just making his way through offices and everything, and then he starts hearing like little. So he's like, "Oh shit! Is 60 Minutes on? Is someone watching TV?" And so he carefully opens this door. And
of course, we know it's Saturday, so we know 60 Minutes isn't on.
Come on, Dan. We know it's Saturday.
Yeah,
it could have been a rerun. He watched football on a Friday, Murray. Everything's a day early. So that's what happens when you're on the West Coast.
That's when you're drunk all the time.
So he opens the door very slowly, and he sees a fucking crazy old woman crocheting.
With the most human-like hands I've ever seen, because they are human hands.
Oh.
Crocheting. Because it was like, it looked like something from Kiss in the Phantom of the Park, this horrible fucking robot. And he's like, and he thinks it's a real person. It looks totally like a mannequin, but he's drunk, so
Come on, you got to remember,
his eyes blurry as shit.
Yeah, exactly. He is the original Rick from Rick and Morty.
He's like, "Why are you sewing? I need help." And he shakes her head, and her head just rolls off.
And again, he's drunk, so he's like, "Oh my god, I didn't mean to kill you. I didn't mean to kill you." And then hands reach out and grab Dan, and just like, "Oh shit." The Kush has got him.
The Kush clones. They're having him in, and then Cochran shows up. That was a robot, an automaton from 1832 from Germany. Shame you had to break it, you drunk bastard. And he's bummed out about
Holy
that.
shit. There was a skirmish before we even see Cochran coming into the picture.
Was there?
Yeah, because the
right.
goon pulls him into the room, throws him over a box. You see Dan's double go over the table. And then he pops back or turns over, and it's Dan again. But then he fights with this robot. He gets one punch in on its head.
Well, we don't know it's a robot yet. We just know it's a Kushner.
Sorry.
And
5 seconds away from ruining this. Anyways. So he punches it, and then he pulls his hand back like, that was the hardest object I've ever punched in the world.
Right.
And you're like, okay, well, he can't defeat this thing. So the Kush clone grabs him, forces him to the ground, force head on him.
Yeah, that's their move.
Yeah, and Dan knows
he gets the upper hand. He punches him in his robo-dick.
Yeah,
it works with demons. That was you saw in Black Roses, and it works with robots. They all have nards. Not just werewolves have nards.
Yeah,
all creatures have nards.
All creatures,
all male creatures,
all spooky creatures,
all spooky male creatures. And he kicks him in his robo-nuts, and that's the weak spot.
He falls to the ground. Of course, he did it, kind of Ric Flair style, where he went face first,
right,
and then rolled over for Dan to come over and decides to punch him in the gut.
Well, that's what you do. You soften him up in the body. Everyone goes for the head. Yeah. You got to soften him up in the body first, and then you go for the head.
Yeah,
Dan knows that because he's a scrapper. He's had a lot of bar fights in his life.
Yes,
so he's just like, punch in the gut, and then he's like,
what the fuck?
Pulls his hand away. Green goo is all on his hand. Griff, I think we found out what Billy from Fright Night was. He's a fucking robot.
Oh.
Remember he had all that green goo in him?
He had the green goo.
Billy was a robot.
Green goo. But I did notice that Dan pulls out wires. I never saw Billy's rope.
No, we didn't. But we saw the opposite of what Teddy saw. All we saw was goo with Billy.
Right. And so this is when more goons and Cochran come in, and Cochran's all disheveled over. This was 1,000 years old. don't know this voice. I'm so lost.
And so he's like, I suppose since I'm the villain, I have to tell you my plan now. So follow me.
Okay, so this is one of like 9 exposition dumps by Cochran. He's like,
he loves it when a plan comes together. So he's got to gloat.
I like
this
it.
This is his final plan.
Right. And he's about to kill everyone in California, apparently.
In the world.
Oh,
in America. They don't celebrate Halloween like in other countries, so it's just America.
Yeah.
And so they go in the elevator. He's like, he starts talking. These robots, I created them. They're almost human-like. And then one sneezes. Like, see, I did that.
Bless you.
And they take him to this room, and it's this giant warehouse-like room.
Yep, they got I think Close Encounters of the Third Kind. They got like this station of computers just kind of situated around. And then you hear the ching, 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 ching in the background and everything.
You hear some Spinal Tap. Stonehenge, where the demons dwell, where the banshees live, and they do live well. And they're blasting Spinal Taps, they're rocking out, and they're chimping out little pieces of fucking Stonehenge, and they're putting them in those tags. It's just it's like magic pixie dust. They put a microchip. Why the microchip has to be there, I don't know. And then they sprinkle a little pixie dust, little Stonehenge pixie dust on them. And they're like, he's like, it took, he's like, can you believe it? We stole this and nobody even found out about it, It was a hell of a time getting into this country, though.
Right. So, yeah, we get to see, like, the whole buffet operation here, the computers, where the people are putting the dust on the tags.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, this is his final plan. He's going to kill all the children of America. They're done. Why are they making more masks? Like, he's not doing this next year. Who gives a shit?
That's interesting because even one of the characters said, I want to put my order in early for next year.
Yeah, and he just blew them off.
Yeah, he's like, we're not going to be able to do that. So it is interesting that they're still making masks, even though they have one day to get them out and sold. Because this is only the 30th, so they have to get it out by tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
So they still have one little small window, but those ovens were firing at full,
I think this is the 31st now. I think we're on Halloween at this time.
Yeah, you know what? We are. This is the... So what? Yeah. Why all the masks?
I don't know. They're just industrious people, I guess. You make robots, you put them to work.
That's a good point.
And yeah, so we got like the everyone in lab coats, they're scientists, and they're just hammer and chiseling little rocks off of Stonehenge.
But I got, they may have Dan in bondage here and well, not in bondage,
he
but
would love that.
Yeah, he would be into that. But they have him, captured or whatever, but he's still got his flask, so he's barely paying any attention. He's looking around, computers. We got computers in the hospital. I don't know what they do. We got nerds to worry about that shit. Am I right, nerds? And then he finally, Cochran's like, and if you'll look over here at this monitor, and he's got Ellie on a table.
Yeah, a Frankenstein table.
And he's like, hey, I've been sleeping with that woman. She's a pretty good lay. Should I help her or something? You can read Dan's motivation on it.
He wants to just bail. Fight or flight, it's always flight with Dan. So he's he's looking for any hole to scurry to, but then he's like, hey.
I should have pointed out that was me and Murray reading Dan's eyes. He was just like, should I help this woman?
No. I already banged her, so
yeah. Twice, and that's one more time than I would have in one night. And
he brags about it to Cochran. 2 times in one night I banged that chick.
Yeah, Cochran, of course, he's
Cochran's
only
dick
10 years.
Doesn't work at all.
He's only 10 years older, so he's like, oh my gosh. 2 times? One night? I'm lucky if I get 2 bowel
They're
movements in a
actually
night.
called back to RoboCop 2. They're sitting in a hot tub while they're doing this. They're just talking. They're just broing up.
Oh, my God. That image immediately popped in my brain because I like to send that to you sometimes.
So he's just like, young man, let me show you what these masks really do. And then we see our family, Buddy and his douchey family.
Still on the tour.
Yes.
It's a 9.5-hour tour.
Being brought into a test room. It's just it's made up to look like a living room. But we can see there's curtains. There's a wall behind it. The wife notices that. That's strange.
Mom noticed it. She pulls back the curtain, knocks on the wall, and then makes a really.
Billy, classic douchey kid. He just runs to the TV. He doesn't care what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, put your mask on, Billy. Billy puts it on. I don't know. And they just walk out.
I thought he didn't put his mask on until the commercial starts to run.
Yeah, because the commercial told him to.
Yeah, exactly. He's a good listener.
Yes. And so
for TV.
The Kushners don't even explain anything. They just walk out, lock them in this room, and Buddy's like, well, he must. The cockroach is like my best friend, so I know he's not going to do anything. I mean, this must be something special for us.
Well, they gave him a pad of paper and pencil.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's going to run some new commercials for us, and he just wants my input, and we want to set a nice family setting. Right. I saw the Soldier of Fortune magazine out there. Right. I saw the coil of the speaker monster was just dried out there on the ground.
No earrings at all to be seen.
No earrings.
Nice, perfect, all-American family.
Exactly.
And so, like you said, like all American families, they want to watch TV immediately. So Billy turns that TV on, and then that's the Silver Shamrock commercial, which we've heard 12 times so far in this movie.
Buddy is just like, wait, what am I supposed to tell him? This is the same commercial. I really don't want this. He's pulling our leg because he's a practical joker. He's pulling our leg. Right. He's ribbing us. This is a good one.
So Billy puts the mask on, and nice. Much. I guess we're talking about knives don't affect you. Magical commercials don't affect you either because he no-sells it. He just collapses. He doesn't scream. He just grabs his head and collapses.
Yeah.
And the mom's kind of like, what's going on with this shit?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, crickets start flying out of the mouth of the mask.
It starts with crickets, and it's just like a bunch of them squeeping out. I stuttered for seconds to get squeeping out of my mouth. Just like this guy's getting crickets out of his mouth, and then spiders out of his mouth, and then worms.
And then little snakes. And then a giant fucking rattlesnake comes out of his fucking
Did I tell you about the worm that got in my house?
No.
I was just sitting here the one day. I was working. I turned to my right, and the cat is following something. There's a giant fucking earthworm just slurping along on my ground there.
Was there any Silver Shamrock masks anywhere?
I don't know.
Maybe one of the next door neighbor kids just got his head brought it off. I don't know. So the mom just faints.
Yeah. That's a good, yeah.
And Dad's like, what the fuck? And then he gets bit by a rattlesnake.
Oh, yeah, that's what got him. Because he was taking notes. He's like, wow, this is a really good commercial. Right. Like, the interaction.
The worst fucking commercial ever. It's just a flashing pumpkin and that fucking Silver Shamrock thing. So, yeah, then he's like, fucking Tom is like watching. He's like, can you give me a drink? Tom Atkins, the actor. Dan is watching.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can just use a drink right now. Like, it's like, yeah, it's gross what's happening there, but can we drink while we're watching this?
Wow. Awful. You sent out one of your Kush clones to go get me a drink like 5 minutes ago. I'm thirsty here. I need to be purged.
Now it's Sunday the 31st. Halloween. So Teddy now is trying to get a hold of Dan. So she's calling the town, getting no answer.
Because, of course, you can just call a town up directly.
Exactly. You just call up and go. Well, we learn later on that you can just get whatever. You just talk into the phone.
Operator,
get me this, and then they get it to you immediately.
I wonder if the Santa Mira Bank had $3 million in their vaults.
At least they're the biggest fucking mask sellers in at least $3 million.
Gotta be. Okay.
So she's like, because she's examining these parts, there's gears and shit. She's like, cars don't have gears, do they?
Yeah. And so she finally is starting to put it together, and she's like,
I don't know how she puts this together, but she does finally put it together.
Yeah. Well, she put two parts together, and then she said, this is together now.
Yeah, I would think it was just a Lego set, but she's like, no, this is robots.
Yeah, this has got to be robots. So she's like, I'm gonna call the cops or something. I'm gonna call somebody. I'm gonna call the X-Files. This is the perfect X-Files kind of situation, right?
She's like, I'm gonna call Lycanthropus Chris because there might be some monsters involved.
That's a good call. I don't know if he does robots.
Does he work for the BPRD? We've never learned what organization that Chris works for.
He said that's on the mum.
Okay.
Is that the one? The thing that people say it's on the mum?
Not really. Okay. Mum's the word.
Mum is the word.
Grease is also the word.
So as she's trying to call up the cops, we see a Kush clone lurking around in there. I like this better. If you're going to have like a ominous lurking person, I like the Kush clones as opposed to the Michael Myers always. And they have a little bit more direction to them and everything.
Right. And he's a big Abel Ferreira fan, so he loves Driller Killer. And there happens to be a drill. Why? In a medical examiner's room?
Let's think about this, too, because the robots so far, their move is to push your head down into their dicks.
For men.
For men.
That's what we're learning. It's a different way to kill women.
Oh. You're right. And so for women, they're like, no, we got to
Drill kill.
drill kill. I like it.
And he does it. He pins her down and just goes into her ear, drills her brains out, we're assuming.
Yeah.
So she's dead. Teddy's dead. That's what I said. So Dan, we see Dan. He's tied up in a chair. He's like, seriously, can you give me a drink? And like, I don't think so, because you need to be lucid for I tell you a little bit more of my sinister plan.
I got to tie you up for this portion of the story.
And then it's like, you Americans, you can put capitalism in everything. You make money off everything. This is a sacred holiday for my people. Samhain, or as Danzig would say, Samhain. And he's like, we would sacrifice children and animals. Witchcraft up the ass. This is how, because on Halloween, the wall between the real world and the spirit world is thin. And you are bastardizing it with your masks and your trick-or-treating, and you're giving people pennies. Don't give them pennies. Give them fucking candy. And he's like, the planets are aligning. This is the end of the world. And he's just,
We don't decide these things. The planets do. You can't fight that. That's planets. Yeah.
And he's like, he's giving him the reason for the season. He's like, this is what Halloween's the true meaning, Charlie Brown.
Yeah. And so Station...
He's the great pumpkin in a way.
He is the great pumpkin in a way. Yeah. So he's got him in this little locker room. He's not in like one of the test rooms that they could have just put him in. No. That would have locked.
They're still working on cleaning that one out. There's like snakes
There's
and
multiple
goo
test
everywhere.
rooms, right? Is there really only the one?
Well, I think they did say test room 1 on it, so maybe there's another one. I don't know, but yes, he's in like a janitor closet.
Yes,
but there's a TV there.
Well, yeah, they wheeled in a TV and they have a nice pumpkin mask to put on him. They couldn't just couldn't.
I thought it was a skull mask.
Was it a skull mask? Oh, it might. Yeah, you're right. It was a skull mask. So they popped that skull mask on him. And now, what I'm curious about, and no, you know what? They answered this later, so I'll just go on.
So he's just like, here's a little TV. He puts on that silver shamrock. He's going to, because that's the thing. They're doing this huge special.
Yes.
Silver Shamrock special. Everybody is excited about this. We see a scene of kids all over the country, and they show us every city except Detroit. They didn't show anything. We're too busy burning houses down at that time of day. So, but they're like trick-or-treating, and they can't wait to get home, because at 9 o'clock, we run into a little error, I think, in the movie.
Yeah.
9 o'clock is when this special is going to air. Okay. So, she's like, and then we see like the
digital
clock countdown. He's like, enjoy the show, Mr. Chalice. And puts the fucking mask on him, puts him in front of the TV.
Here's what really irritated me, because I'm pretty sure he looks up at that clock, and it's 7:50.
Yeah, it is.
So I was like, he's got 10 minutes to get this shit done.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And then he looks back eventually, and it's 8:10. I was like, wait, what? So everyone's dead, right? I was very confused by that choice of time, but whatever.
Dan immediately kicks the TV, and I think it'd be a little harder to do it than he does, but maybe he's probably has experience. He's drunk. Buffs the TV, gets a little shard of the tube, cuts his bonds, grabs the mask. One little flick. This is the one skill Dan has, because he must be good at cornhole, because he throws that mask, lands right on the video camera.
That would make sense. He's good at bar game. Any kind of like carnival game.
He's the master of beer pong, so he should know how to do this.
Yeah, he's like a carny. So He's got carny athleticism.
So while that's going on, we hear that Cochran on the phone with the big TV execs. He's hearing there's going to be big numbers for this. Bigger than the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
everybody's going to be watching this special,
right? And one of the Kush clones is trying to go over there and tell them, but robots aren't allowed to interrupt.
Right.
So he's just standing there, just looking off into space, waiting for this phone call to end, so he can alert them that the prisoners escaped.
And so Dan, as you do in movies, you escape in the air duct system, and they're always big enough and always strong enough to hold about 220-pound man. I'm guessing
easily.
I'm guessing Dan's out 220
with that fucking beer gut.
Yeah. And okay, here is the conundrum we're involved with. Okay, I'm assuming that if his plan goes to fruition, it has to happen everywhere at the same time. So if it's 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that means the show is airing midnight on the East Coast. This is school night, people. kids aren't going to be watching. Nobody's going to let their kids stay up because the whole thing is there's going to be prizes, so you have to watch this show.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to let their kids on a school night stay up to midnight
No.
to watch this show.
Not happening.
So what they fucked up the plot right here.
So this is what confused me.
It should have been 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then everybody would still be watching on the East Coast. They just watch it at 6 o'clock.
Exactly. That would have made way more sense to me.
Yeah.
So, like, when we get to it, it's like I have my own theory on what happened there.
The only thing I can give them is maybe the clock is set on Eastern Standard Time that Cochran has. That's the only out I can give them.
That's a good out. You know
Yeah.
what? When we get to it, I'll accept that.
Okay.
So Dan makes his way. He weasels his way into the shipping warehouse using that sweet carny agility of his. And he finds a phone, and of course, this phone works because he's within the Silver Shamrock headquarters. And who's the first person you would think to call in an emergency?
Can you call 911 from this place? I don't know.
That's a good point. Maybe you can't.
Yeah.
So he calls up his ex-wife Linda.
That's the only number he can remember. He's so fucking drunk.
his fingers just. Does Linda still sleep with him sometimes?
I don't know.
I
It's
think-
so funny that this is such like my dad, and like my mom's name's Linda.
Oh.
So I had a moment with this movie.
I think like 4 times a year, Linda actually wants to bang. She gets drunk and calls up Dan, and that's what got them together. But she's mostly sober.
And that explains why he's so cocky with her and thinks he can get away with this shit.
Yes.
Because he gets away with this shit.
Yes, and she
complains, but she puts up with it.
She keeps bringing him back and taking that dick.
Yeah. Maybe Dan's got something we don't know about, man. I mean, he's got this charm.
I mean,
he's nothing charming about him at all to me.
Hold on, hold the horses.
The mustache?
I think what happened is he went to Stonehenge as a kid, and he chiseled some of that powder off, and he consumed it or something.
Snorted it, probably.
Or snorted it, and that gave him some kind of dick powers or something.
Oh. Maybe just rub his dick against one of the stones. Maybe he had to pee on, because he would do that. He would pee on it like a monument, Stonehenge monument, and maybe the magic went up his pee stream.
Oh, right.
Went into his dick.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes
total
sense.
And so he calls up Linda.
So when they do the remake of this movie, and there's 8 hours of Dan's history, it's going to be our
That's
story.
the prequel.
The prequel, yeah. Thank you. Jesus, my brain.
This makes perfect sense, though, because this is a perfect Dan move. He only cares about his kids. So he would call up first to protect his kids. So he's like, Linda, don't let them wear the masks. And, of course, she's heard this drunken babble before because it makes no sense if you don't know what's going on.
Right.
So she's just like, fucking, I've had it with you. They're wearing their masks. Bye. And she hangs up on him.
So Dan is thinking about making another call, but he's hearing some Kush clones closing in on him. So he's like, fuck, I got to get out of here.
He also knows that maybe this is Linda's serious this time. So he's like, maybe I need to get Ellie because I don't have the backup with Linda anymore.
Oh, you're right. He's like, when I get out of this situation, because I get out of every situation. I'm a carny after all.
Right.
I'm going to need to get my dick wet. And Ellie's captured, so.
I got to wet my whistle and my dick.
Yeah. And that Marge woman apparently.
And he finds her somehow. I don't know how he knows. Like, apparently there's only 3 rooms in this.
I
lair.
know. He just happens on the door, opens it, and Ellie just gets up and goes.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
And they're, I think they're watching them because we see the closed caption camera where he's rescuing her.
Oh, maybe they did, but they lose track of them because then they end up just sneaking into the Stonehenge room, and there's all kinds of crates and walls that they can hide behind.
They're literally they have a rack of masks. They're rolling and logs behind it. And he climbs up the catwalk system that they have for some reason. It's all above this.
You're getting a little ahead of yourself because Dan is sitting with Ellie in the Stonehenge room.
This is a classic Dan plan.
He's looking around and he's like, I got a plan. One time, I was really mad at the nerds, so I went into their office and I fucking hit every button on their computers and poured beer all over them. And it fucking sparked up and it started a little fire and all the nerds were super fucking angry. And I just said, tenure, bitches! What did doctors get? Nothing.
Tenure.
But he's protected, so he gets to do whatever he wants.
Because he's Dan.
Because he's the lovable.
We don't even know if Dan's really a doctor at this moment. We assume he is.
He does work in this hospital, and everyone knows him and loves him.
Does he work at it? Maybe he just hangs out at the hospital.
Here's the thing.
Maybe he's a mental patient. That's how they know him. Okay,
It is, if you have seen it, it is the episode of Seinfeld where Kramer got a job and he just shows up at the office with a suit and tie on and he gets fired. He's like, I don't even work
Can
here.
you just explain the Kushners? They have a suit. They walk in. He has a white lab coat. Doctor.
Exactly. You act the job you want.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. So Dan, that's his idea. He sees all those
So
computers
Dan,
and nerds.
He pulls a Matt from Black Rose's move where he's just like sneaking up, like out in the open, but he's sneaking.
Yeah. Hey,
And-
of course, he tells Ollie, hey, can you reach in your pocket? I stored a couple beers in there for myself. I knew I was going to need them later. Thanks, babe.
And then, like you said, he just starts randomly pushing buttons on this computer panel.
Yep.
And then that apparently he did the right thing because it sets off the Silver Shamrock commercial starts playing on all the monitors
in the room. Yeah.
Because there's like a circle of monitors these robots are working on, and then he's like, "Oh, perfect plan! Like that was his plan." What?
Right. That's it.
Distract them with a commercial,
Right.
Because then they go back and they open up. He notices when the Silver Shamrock tags. How did he know this was going to do anything? I don't know his plan. I don't get it.
I think he notices the labels before he goes on. He connected those dots somehow.
Because I know he saw a box and a tag was just hanging out of the side of the box.
Yeah.
And he takes it.
We
and
keep
an
calling them
idea
tags. They're
sparks.
pogs.
We got to remember, he is drunk. So this is drunk logic. So he's just like, okay, tags.
Yeah.
So he grabs, he gets apparently there's a box that's full of tags.
Yes.
And he grabs them and they walk up to the catwalk and he just pours them down onto the robots in their computer like system thing.
Yeah. So the commercial's playing.
Yeah.
And he's dropping his tags down on them, the poker chips, the pogs.
Does the commercial have to play? Because
I think so.
It did not work. But when Marge did it, there wasn't a commercial playing.
But she was prodding it.
Okay.
It's the bobby pin.
Okay.
Apparently what had happened is when she went into the front office, some of the Stonehenge dust got on the bobby pin maybe, and so when she was poking it, Stonehenge meets Stonehenge, and it blew up. But yeah, so he starts dropping all the pog chips, and they're sparking, and they're shooting people, and they're just zapping all the robots.
Yeah.
Until the point where is this where it happens where it just like starts glowing and everything?
It's a glowing circle.
Because the planets start to align.
Okay.
That had to be
I'll
it.
go with it.
Yeah, that had to be it.
So Cochran is standing there. And then the Stonehenge monument starts glowing too. So he's in between. There's a circle of glowing where the computers are, and then Stonehenge.
Yeah.
He's in between it. And he looks up and he sees Dan. Dan just takes a swig off that fucking
flask.
And he gives him a nice tough golf clap. He's like, "Touche, you figured me out."
He looks back at Stonehenge and he's just like, "Give it to me, give it to me, Daddy." I mean, this might be how you make a Highlander.
You thinking the quickening this is the quickening?
It looks like a quickening, does it not? The effects of the lightning shooting.
And that's
up
probably why he was so happy to receive it.
Yeah.
Because he gets the ray shoots out from Stonehenge, hits him,
Yeah.
and this incinerates him. He doesn't even get the well. He didn't have the mask on, so I guess you need the mask to get the bug effect.
So Dan thinks he's saving the world right here by stopping this, but really what he's doing is creating Highlanders, and we know that if Dustin McLeod or whatever his name was doesn't save the world,
Dustin McLeod, Connor McLeod,
Connor McLeod
Dustin McLeod
doesn't save the world. You know who's gonna? It's gonna go to hell because that's what Highlander 2 was.
It was hell watching it.
It was.
Okay, so yeah, he thinks he stopped it. I don't know why he thought but he's drunk logic. He thinks he stopped it because he stopped Cochran, but no, the special's still going to go on.
Right.
So, but he doesn't care. He thinks he stopped it. So him and Ellie just get in first car. They just grab and they're going to drive back. I guess he wants to like save his. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he didn't stop it. Maybe he's trying to get home to save.
No,
his kid.
he still thinks he needs to do more. Call back, call the TV stations and that stuff. That's on his head. So he's got one clear moment in his drunk addled brain.
So he's like, "Wow, that was really weird. What just happened back there, man? You got any beers on you, babe?" And then she just fucking grabs his face and starts clawing at him. And he's like, "Whoa, I like the rough stuff, babe, but I'm driving right now." And so they're struggling and they crash into a tree.
Yeah. Ellie flies out of the car, He looks over at the passenger seat, and it was like open, but just an arm was there.
Yes,
and it was wiggling
Very
around.
flimsy robots. Yes, Ellie is a robot, so that's why she was drawn to him at the bar because they knew he knew something. So she was supposed to lure him to Santa Mira
Because he knew something.
Yes, because they thought he might have got something from Harry.
Okay. Yep.
They could have just sent a Kushner to kill him, but no, Cochran likes to play his mind games.
Yep.
So.
I don't get I still don't understand the shower scene. I need to know what was going on.
Maybe
with that
that's why
shower
she was
scene.
so weird. Because robots don't need a shower.
Yes. Okay.
I think it was just because we needed to get a nude scene in. That's why we needed the shower.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't make sense why the blanket.
No, it doesn't.
That's all.
Well, if you're a robot, it does.
Okay.
So, yeah, her arm got ripped off.
Yeah.
But it's not going to stop her.
So he walks around and he's like trying to figure out what he's doing. He opens up the trunk. He's going to change the tire, but he crashed into a tree. That's not going to work, Dan.
And remember, she's a female robot, no robo-nuts. So she isn't a weak spot.
Jeez, I don't know if Dan's ever gone up with such a formidable opponent. So
just think of the money from sex robots Cochran could have made. He didn't even have to bother with the mask.
Dan, a man who has fucked every woman who's ever walked into
but
the
only
hospital.
once. But he only fucked the robot's the only person he fucked twice in one night.
Right. But I'm saying he's been in a lot of vaginas.
Yeah. But
Every
robo
single
vagina's
woman.
the best.
But he didn't even notice. Mm-hmm. Was he just like, is this what your kids are packing these days?
Well, he noticed it was good because he did it twice.
Well, yeah.
He's usually one time and then he goes to sleep. He passes out.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, it's just very funny that he probably just assumed this is what the kids are packing these days.
That was,
He's like, I'm going to go back home and fuck more 22-year-olds.
So he's struggling with her. She's like, and like you said, he grabs that tire iron, wham, starts whapping her in the face.
Yeah, eventually knocks her head off, I believe.
Yeah, knocks her head off.
And
this went on way too fucking long.
It really did.
Ridiculous.
It really did. You guys did not need to stretch this anymore.
Yeah, because he's like, we see a scene where we see like the nice scene of the woman's real head like laying there in the robot body, and we see a hand like grabbing the grass, like clawing, and then he's like, oh, that was so horrible, and then the fucking headless body attacks him, and then it collapses, and then we're like, all right, we're done. We had like 20 jump scares for no reason.
Now, here's where we're getting into something interesting, because I tried to convince you earlier that was Northern California where the gas station was, and that's why it made sense that he drove him to Dan's hospital. But now it doesn't make sense, because Dan is an alcoholic carny who just fought a female robot.
He has no cardio. We know that.
He has zero cardio. He has no cigarettes, and he's out of beer. He somehow runs to this gas station.
Yeah.
It can't be that far away.
Right.
So what the fuck? Why did they drive it to Dan's hospital? We're
John Carpenter, you got some explaining to do.
We're back on question 1 of this episode. Right. We've gone full circle, like Stonehenge.
So yeah, he stumbles back upon that gas station, the same gas station. The guy's still sitting there, it's watching TV.
Yup. He's seen so many frantic white people just push into his store. He's not even bothered by it. Some kids pull up.
He's got all the Jack Chick religious tracks. He's going to hand it out to the kids. He's trying to save their soul.
Oh, is that what he's handing out? Okay.
Yeah, because these kids just wander in and like
a car dropped them off. I saw a car pull up and then the kids get
the
out.
show's happening. We're in the middle of nowhere. Watch it in the gas station.
Very interesting. Because, it was Little Griff. He walks up and just turns the TV on like he fucking lives there. Guy was watching, like the late night show.
And Dan acts like he lives there because he grabs the phone.
Yeah.
And he's like, operator, get me the executives for the networks. We can do that, sir. Hold on, please. Gets right through. And he's like, you have to turn off the show. People are going to die.
And the TV, Little Griff, turned on the fucking Silver Shamrock show. Heavy quotes on that because it's just the flashing pumpkin. They didn't even get a Svengoolie ready. It's a flashing pumpkin.
Yeah, no hosts, nothing.
Nothing. And so we see he's yelling, just stop it.
And when back then in '83, when a white man yelled about something, you listened.
Yeah.
So they go. Turn it off.
Well, his BIM marks were off the charts. Like, that's how they tell. It's like, if this guy's serious enough, is they look at the BIM chart, and he was through the roof.
So they had to believe him.
Yeah.
So they turn it off.
And Dan breathes a sigh of relief. He's like, my God, I'm pretty sure I smell alcohol near me. I'm going to go have a drink. Little Griff gets up and turns the
Yeah, it's
channel.
nice that no one had the exclusive rights to the show. Every channel was playing this show.
Yeah, all the big networks work
Well,
together.
all three. This you could get away with this now. You couldn't do this in the internet and like streaming.
Well,
era.
oh yeah, for sure. 2, 4, and 7.
but yeah.
They all had it.
And so Little Griff turned to 4.
Yup.
And then he's like, "Get me through to NBC." And then he's like, "Turn it off." Turn it off. And then he clicks. He's like, Little Griff's like, not hampered by it. He just turns to Channel 7.
Not even bothered. Doesn't turn around. Isn't bothered by a fucking adult yelling at people. You need to turn it off. It's gonna murder. Not bothered at all. He's like, I gotta watch this fucking shit.
And unfortunately, the last station's Fox News, and they're not going to stop.
Well, they got a host too.
Yeah, they're not going to stop for capitalism.
Yeah, they got Tucker Carlson to actually host
Right.
it. So it's playing, and it's Tucker in the corner. Hello, children. Don't you realize what Americans are trying to tell you to do? They're trying to get you to accept socialism, which is the same as Satanism, by taking candy handouts.
And just like you and I would be, Dan just goes, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!"
Fades to black. Perfect ending.
Right. This is the way a horror movie should end. It should end with a bleak fucking ending.
Love it. Love it.
Well, it's very up in the air. The director said that because it's like, well, maybe they did turn it off. You'll never know.
Right.
Maybe Dan is the hero.
Right. But my whole thing is midnight. Nobody's watching it. Right. So it had like what time did they kill the station at? Did they air it earlier in the East Coast? Are we dealing with fucking bunch of dead kids on the East Coast?
You would have to believe that all the TV execs were in on it, his plan, if that's the case, because they would, if it happened on the East Coast at 9:00, then they would, normal people would warn the people in the central state, the rest of the country, don't play this special. So if you were going by all the show happened at 9 everywhere, then they're all in on it. It's lizard people, dude.
Lizard people.
Lizard people run the world, so maybe they would do that.
You see, that was Cochran's biggest problem. Maybe that's what it was. Cochran had a big problem with scheduling.
Only solution, like I said, I could give is he had the Eastern Standard clock on. That's that's the only way we can rationalize this.
Yeah, that's the only way this all makes sense. I mean, we saw Dan out, and it was way too dark out for 6:00, so that doesn't make sense either.
Well, it is in the fall. It gets dark at 6.
Not in California. That West Coast sun never goes away, Murray. Especially Northern California. You're like, is this day ever going to end? They have 15-hour days there.
It's like, wow, it's like Alaska.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly like Alaska.
Wow. Schlocktober comes to a close. Or does it? We've noticed that Halloween is a Sunday, much like in this movie.
Right.
October 31st, Sunday, Halloween. So you're getting one more treat, people, and we're not tricking you. And this is a perfect segue back into action because we're going back to action, guys. We had our little foray, our little flirting with horror for this month. Back into action, and we're going to the man of action, Chuck Norris. We're doing a special little Halloween tippy tap. The hills have eyes for Walker, Texas Ranger.
Ooh.
When Walker has to go into the mountains and face a cannibalistic humanoid above ground dweller. So you better, I know you guys love to ignore the tippy taps, but you better tune in for this one because it's fucking good.
Not to mention, Walker's hair is on fire in the first minute.
Right. We have a flashback.
Oh, his hair looks so good in that flashback.
So check that out, and we'll see you on Halloween. Keep it spooky.